All right. Dirty Sports episode 767. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
What's up, Andy?
Late night gang.
It's that night pod action.
Yeah. It's a different feel. We talk about it all the time, but it's a different feel.
It's a different feel. I'm 1 second into our you know what ad before I crack one. You know, it's just got that good. I've already got 2 beers in me tonight. You know how it goes. And also it's just like it's a Wednesday. You know, Wednesday's the new Thursday. Thursday's been the new Friday for years.
This is news to me.
Yeah.
Wednesday's the new Thursday?
I feel like Thursday's the new weekend since I was in college.
Yeah. Thursday was a big weekend thing in college.
And like Wednesday used to be like the end of the week, basically. You get to Thursday, post work, Thursday happy hour, unless you're a lawyer or a doctor or something. Like, come on, it's the weekend. Fridays, we're mailing in Fridays.
I like how you just listed two professions. You're like, unless you're a lawyer or a doctor, but everybody else doesn't give a shit.
Honestly, I truly. And then honestly, even lawyers, like unless you're a doctor, basically, unless you're a doctor or a Supreme Court justice, Fridays have been canceled for as long as I can remember. Post-pandemic, Wednesdays are the new Thursdays.
I would argue it's more of a California thing. I'd say I think a lot of the other areas. But by the way, speaking of working, I was actually going to tweet this out, but I'll just say it on our show instead. Has there ever been a time, and actually there hasn't, I'll just say it. There's never been a time ever where anybody can get a job. Is it like this in California? Here, every single business I drive by.
Yeah, help wanted,
hiring.
Yeah.
And like the amount that they're paying fast food places, I think about the stuff I did in high school. It's nuts, man. Every place needs somebody. It's crazy.
But I mean, we're from a time where like you're in high school, you're in college. Like we didn't have a thing. Now, literally every girl between 18 and 24 has 1 million TikTok followers. Every dude between 18 and 24 is somehow monetizing playing video games on Twitch.
True.
Like, God.
Yeah.
But what I would do to be 18 again and have people watching my drunken late night Madden playing.
I know.
As a career.
I never thought of it from that angle, because meanwhile I'm driving by and I'm like, McDonald's is paying $14 an hour. I was like, I worked there sophomore year in college. They didn't pay me or sophomore year of high school. I dressed up as the Hamburglar. I think I've told that. I was the Hamburglar. They didn't pay me shit to do kids parties.
Just imagine me calling my brother a cunt as I played GoldenEye was a fucking
way to make money.
A profession.
That's crazy.
You really gonna use odd job, you little bitch, ass bitch using a little bitch ass odd job.
What would be crazier is trying to explain it to your parents.
Yeah.
Like, no, I actually get paid to do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I can't even explain to my parents I get paid doing a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think my parents ever understood ever. And not to name names, but one of my siblings still doesn't understand. Like he just thinks, I don't know what he thinks. He just thinks
Brad. We know it's Brad.
I've magically somehow.
I think we all know it's Brad.
Yeah, I've just magically somehow been able to pay rent and for groceries or whatever the last how many years. Like it just falls out of the sky. I'm like, no, dude. When I read ads, just FYI, DirtBalls, they pay when ads are done. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And we have a few this episode, so go support our sponsors.
It's great. Doesn't mean we still don't have to do other jobs. Like, for example, this weekend, I'll be at the Comedy House in New Orleans. Doing comedy.
What are those dates? What are those times?
Saturday, October 1st and 2nd. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Come to the shows, buy the tickets. Get your tickets in advance. It's all on my social media bios.
Yeah, man. 2021's wild.
I swear to God, if next week on Monday, well, I'll still be in New Orleans and we come onto the show and I talk about my weekend in New Orleans and I talk about I'm going full Liam Neeson to the first DirtBall. It's like, you are in New Orleans? I will find you and I will kill you. Don't you fucking dare.
I can't wait.
What do you mean you were in New Orleans? I'm going to be underneath your bed when you go to sleep, and I'm going to slit your throat and let you bleed out.
I had someone message me like a month or two ago, was wanting to meet up in Venice, and I was like, a lot's happened.
I have terrible news for you.
I got some bad news. Some things happened in my family. I don't live there anymore. You know, like it was one of those like awkward, well, I don't know how I put this to you, buddy, but yeah, I'm not living there anymore. Yeah. That's going to happen to you. For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's going to be an interesting game, man.
What, Giant Saints?
Man.
Yeah. That means you've given up less on my team than I have.
Well, I would argue I have moved into the slot is that I don't even call me a Jameis hater. Dude, I get enjoyment when he plays bad. I just get so much enjoyment.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because, you know, I've never been a Jameis hater. I have always called myself a Jameis truther. We've only become Jameis haters because there's Jameis lovers out there who, despite all facts, won't let it go.
Sure.
I will say one thing about Jameis, you know, and the
have you seen these videos lately coming out?
He's insane.
Dude, he's a stand-up comic.
The love for he who shall not be named that loves Jameis, you know, we don't talk about that guy either anymore. But it's like there's all this. I've seen a lot of the talk on the internet that like, oh, it's gonna progress. You know, it's like Jameis is, first of all, this is year 2 of Jameis on the team, but also that it's like there's going to be this ramping up of Jameis through the year as he like
can't wait. Yeah,
and I'm like, first of all, I hope that that's true. I hope that they ramp up, and second of all, doesn't that just prove he's bad? Because Matthew Stafford joined a new team and a new system, and they were like, hey, you want to throw the ball 45 times a game, win the MVP? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. They're like, great.
Both former number 1 picks for the record.
Yeah.
I mean, that I haven't seen that because I maybe haven't followed closely enough, but
like, imagine if they
Joe, this is his 7th year.
Imagine if they had Stafford. Listen, I think there's truth to like new system,
sure,
the whole thing. But like, imagine that Stafford was throwing the ball 17 times a game, and they're like, he's just getting used to the system. They could not run the ball last week. Stafford threw the ball 40 times. Yeah,
well, and again, like you said, it's his 2nd year there, and it's his 7th year. I know New Orleans fans, and I know some of you, and I see you on Twitter, some New Orleans dirtballs are sick of the dunking on Jameis, but guys, you gotta have a rally. Like, this is year 7. This guy's probably halfway done with his NFL career. He's in the middle part.
And I think there's absolutely truth that the Saints offense was hampered last couple of years by Drew Brees' lack of ability to throw the ball downfield. But if you're gonna if you're gonna replace Drew Brees with somebody and you're only gonna let him throw 15 times a game, like, so, you know, I still think that they could beat the Giants, who are a broken shell of themselves, with Taysom Hill or Archie Manning at quarterback. But I hope that you're right. It is an interesting game. You know, I'll be there. I'll be turned.
By the way, speaking of Archie Manning, I mean, I'm just going to get this out of the way. If you're not watching Peyton and Eli, I at this point, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You're not even a football fan. These guys are absolutely amazing, and they're getting better by the week. I was texting my brother about this. We were saying how their timing And because it's going to take, you talk about taking a minute to get used to it. This is a whole new thing. Dude, these guys are improving every week with the guest, when not to speak over each other. I mean, the whole thing.
Eli's doing the Dak dance in his dress socks.
Eli's funny, man.
Double finger birds.
Eli is hilarious. I would argue Eli's funnier than Peyton.
I don't even think that's a question. He does more with less.
Yeah.
He gets more laughs on way less attempts. He's throwing for 350 yards a game on 20 throws. Peyton's throwing for 295 yards a game on 60 throws.
And I love Peyton too. Don't get me wrong, but when he did the double bird and then his apology was, well, a 9-year-old did it to me. He only did that because ESPN told him during the commercial break.
And he also, Eli is the ultimate, he's the ultimate, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but he's like everything. When everybody thinks he's like dumb, whatever, it's all an act. He knew, he didn't even think for a second whether or not he thought better than to give the finger, and then he did it anyway. Sure. And then he was like, well, I just did it. He knew it was wrong. He did it anyway. He's like, what are they going to do about it? And then he made a half-assed apology. Like, he did not accidentally double middle finger on national television.
No. And what's fun for me is their personalities that we've gotten to know on the field are the same on this broadcast, where Eli was always the calm, cool, nothing fazed him. He's that way when they do the games. And Peyton was way more energetic and lively in the field. And he's the same way. I mean, you saw Peyton when they didn't have a running back. He's like, they don't got a running back. They don't got a running back. Like, yeah. He's going psycho. And he's in, and Eli's just laughing.
Yeah.
Like, their personalities on that are the same way they were on the field.
And everybody was sharing when that running back thing happened, the classic, like, God damn it, Donald, where Donald goes the wrong way. Oh, it's so great.
It's amazing. And Eli was kicking back, and I like how Peyton was kicking back. Eli made a comment about it, about all those red Solo cups. What was in that red Solo cup that Peyton was drinking?
Yeah, right. I mean, he got on Peyton a couple times. The pit stains, the cowboy hat, the Solo cups.
Dare I say, Peyton Manning was drinking a Miller Lite?
Oh, I think he absolutely was. They seem like Miller Lite guys, don't they?
Yeah, they do, right?
I'm gonna have to step out for a second because I'm a Miller Lite guy.
Yeah, you grab that Miller Lite, guys. The Manning brothers are definitely Miller Lite guys. We're Miller Lite guys, and if you're not a Miller Lite guy, become one. It's been the light beer with great taste since 1975, Joe Prano.
No, don't I know it?
Great taste and only 96 calories. Miller Lite is brewed with beer lovers in mind. So if you like to drink beer, you should definitely be drinking a Miller Lite. So next time you're getting ready to enjoy cold ones with your friends, go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
I really believe that the Mannings are definitely Miller guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm bummed because we don't get them till week 7 now.
Who's we? And you're saying the Mannings.
The Mannings. We don't get them till week 7.
I assumed that Eli was not going to, I knew they were going to take this week off because this week, Eli's Giants, a week after his jersey number retirement, go to his hometown to play Archie's Saints. I know Eli's going to be down there. And I don't know if you saw this, but I tweeted at him. And I am going to do this. I'm going to make sure I'm going to go to the club on Friday early. And I'm going to say, for all 4 shows, I need Eli Manning +1 on my guest list. We need 2 seats empty for Eli and whoever his bestie is in New Orleans. I don't know if it's Cooper. I don't know if it's his wife. I don't know if he's going to bring Arch after the Friday Night Lights game. But I tweeted it, And you know, if you dirtballs are out there and you want to help support, tell Eli Manning on Twitter to come to my shows at Comedy House New Orleans this weekend.
It'd be pretty awesome if Eli showed up.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
You'd be there in a quarter zip, drinking a Miller Lite.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. And you can maybe talk to him and tell him you guys got to do this every week. If we've tasted, you know, once you get that fix, man, it's like a drug. We've tasted the Manning brothers. We need more.
3 weeks off there, and they know what they're doing. They really are like drug dealers. They're like, oh, now take it away for a little bit.
I mean, look at the guests. They're getting like, dude, you had LeBron and Nick Saban. Nick Saban's never done a weekday interview ever because he was in his lair, as you saw, studying game film. You get the best basketball player in the world,
which was awesome. And who did they have in the first quarter? I know they had Long in the fourth quarter.
Matthew Stafford. Who?
And Stafford,
by the way, Stafford was great.
Stafford was awesome.
He was funny. I thought he was great.
He was great. They had the photo of him at Manning passing camp. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. These broadcaster. I mean, we really did blaze the trail on RIP Rabble.
Yeah.
My brother brought up the one Rabble. Remember the Rabble with Theo Vaughn and Jen Sturger?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do I remember? Absolutely.
Oh my God.
It was remarkable.
Yeah.
Theo was amazing. He didn't know what was happening. And then he was all about getting Jen Sturger drunk. And then Jen Sturger like refused to drink like Bloody Marys or whatever. Rabble had this whole idea of like Bloody Mary bowl games. And she was like, can I just get a bottle of whiskey? And then she just started housing whiskey. And then her now husband had to come pick her up.
Didn't she hide in the bathroom? She got so drunk.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Dude, Rabble is wild. I mean, let's bring back.
Then Theo just started roasting her.
Oh my God. Obviously, I wasn't there. I was back in Cincinnati. You guys were in LA. I mean, Rabble was the birthplace of the Too High game.
That's what I was just about to say. we are weeks away from Eli Manning or Peyton Manning calling it Too High, and it all coming full circle.
For those who don't know this reference, we used to do this now defunct app called Rabble, where we basically did what the Manning brothers do, just in audio form. And this is 2015. So the technology has obviously come so far with Facebook Live and YouTube Live and all these things, Instagram Live, where you can do this. That wasn't around yet, but these guys were pretty innovative. And Joe and I are calling a Lions-Packers game.
Like a Monday night game or a Thursday night game?
Yeah, I think it was a Thursday night game.
It was a primetime game.
And we're just smashing pizza. Remember we were in that they would book rooms for us in LA at like
a sound studio.
A sound studio where people would record songs. And that was one of Aaron Rodgers' infamous Hail Marys. And
Ruther went full bleacher bum in Major League. He threw the ball in the air, and Ruther immediately called a too high. And while the ball was in the air, and it was very high, while the ball was in the air, we had enough time to argue about how ridiculous a claim that was. I was like, too high? What does that even mean, too high?
What the hell was I talking about? Maybe I was too high saying that the ball was too high. And I believe that was before the end of half. Or was that the end of the game for them to win?
I think it was the end of the game. I think it was for the win. Yeah.
At Detroit, at Ford Field.
Yeah.
I mean, that call's got to be somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's check. We'll tweet at Wisco Morty, see what's going on.
I'm gonna find. I bet I have that call somewhere. I mean, that's like a greatest moment in dirty sports history.
Well, like the Kobe shot challenge was on Rabble.
Yeah, that's right. Man, nice little trip down memory lane.
Anyway, point is, we're responsible for the Manning cast.
Yeah, I'd like some residual money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so would Rabble. Did like to get out of bankruptcy.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Like some of that money. They could restart their "Where do you watch the Bears in Las Vegas" website that they like pivoted to.
which also failed. No offense.
Yeah, which I still wish I had another idea. I'm like, I'll be in New Orleans. Like I'm always like, oh, where do I watch my game? Like I'm in Los Angeles. Where's the Giants bar? I don't know.
Yeah, but this thing called Google exists. You could just put Giants Bar New Orleans.
Yeah, but it doesn't work as well as you'd think.
Really?
Yeah. Like I feel like if there was a centralized site for people to put this in, because then you get like 10, unless there's like I know for a fact, if you want to watch the Niners in Los Angeles, you go to that SF Saloon that's on like whatever, you know what I mean? But if you wanted to watch the Bengals, it's like, is there a fucking spot?
No. Why would you want to do that, first of all?
Right.
They are hosting the Jags here tomorrow. Am I going? No.
Thursday night, prime time.
I'm going to end up going to a couple of Bengals games. So
we knew that was going to happen.
Well, and also a DirtBall, donated $100 months ago. And I was like, I'm going to have to go. And hate watch. They play the Chargers.
I was surprised you weren't going to be making the trek for the Cincinnati game this week. Cincinnati versus Notre Dame.
You know what's crazy? I couldn't believe this. Cincinnati's the favorite?
Oh, yeah.
Cincinnati opened at -2.5. It's down to 1.5 last time I looked on FanDuel, but Cincinnati is the road favorite.
Brian
I can't believe
Kelly's
that.
Old spot.
And they just whooped up Wisconsin, too.
Yeah.
I don't think Notre Dame's that good. We'll see. That would be a huge win for Cincinnati. I'm rooting for them. So growing up, the Xavier-Cincinnati basketball rivalry was so big. You hate it. I did. You hated everything Cincinnati, even though Xavier doesn't have a basketball team or a football team. But as I got older, I was like, okay, that's stupid. You're right. They're the rival in basketball, but why can't I root for their, not that I root, but I do. I want them to win. It's good for the city. It's a little stadium. I had a 45-yard interception, pick six at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. Humble brag right there. Were we already up 40 points in the game when I was playing? Yes, we were. Certain siblings, I'm not going to name names, will remind me of that every single time. Which sibling do you think I'm talking about?
I think it's still Brad.
Yep. Still Brad.
I once again think it's Brad.
Still Brad.
Who will not know that you called him out about that because he doesn't understand podcasting. He doesn't understand radio on the internet.
No, definitely doesn't understand radio on the internet. You know what I've been doing, though, which I really enjoy? Speaking of messing with people, I've been getting a lot of random text about, spam text about like, oh, click this. Something's been donated in your Venmo. And I've been getting a lot. And every single time I send him the picture of the black dude with his big dick, and every single time I laugh. Like none of the Photoshop versions. I just send that black dude with this massive hog, and I laugh every single time. I bet you I've done it. I'm not exaggerating. 20 times in the last 6 weeks. Because for a while I was getting a text every day, and I'm like, "Oh, you think you're funny?" And I just wish I could see the person on the other end. I don't know if it's like a call center in India or wherever it is. I just want to see their reaction when they're like, "Oh, I'm going to try to con you clicking on this link," and you get the biggest black dick you've ever seen. It's the little things in life, Joe Prano.
Or the big things, depending on how you look at it.
And I do the same. I'll get those about the house.
Yeah.
Are you guys selling the house? Oh, well, you think we're selling the house? Boom. Big old dick. Never gets old. So RIP to that guy. We're going to talk a little sports. I think we should at some point.
Sure.
Well,
I feel like we've talked Jameis, we've talked the Manning cast.
Yeah, we have. Let's talk a little NBA for a minute. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing it. I'm sick of talking about it, but you have to discuss it. The unvaccinated players will not get paid. The ones who are not playing in New York and San Francisco.
And we talked about this issue last episode, but since last episode, it has been a wild ride.
It has.
I mean, we had media day. We had the players, LeBron comes out, says he is vaccinated. Steph Curry essentially trolls Andrew Wiggins. Jonathan Isaac does his thing. Bradley Beal does his thing. It seems like it's Beal, Kyrie, Isaac. They're sort of the face of the unvaxxed crowd. And it's funny because two of those guys are stars, and one of those guys is just a guy who refused to kneel for Black Lives Matter and talked openly about, January 6th and stuff like that. So, it's funny how we do this. It's almost like we should ignore everything that Jonathan Isaac says, but we gave him, everybody's pretending that he's a player on the Magic and not just the black Republican.
Look, I don't know anything about him. That's the truth. I haven't followed
because he's not a NBA star by any means. You don't know about him because there's no reason to know about him. The only people who do know about him know that he was the guy that refused to kneel for Black Lives Matter.
Well, look, that doesn't bother. He can do what he wants, just
Right.
like he can do what he wants on the vaccine. He's been in the league obviously a few years. He's a top 10 pick out of Florida State, but he has been getting a lot of headlines.
Yeah.
And if we want, I can play what he said the other day. Now, again, a quick reminder. So in the city of New York and San Francisco, you have to be vaccinated in these sort of events. And the NBA is saying if you don't play, so if, let's say, for example, if Kyrie Irving does not play, he will not be paid, which is
obviously is why Andrew Wiggins, who's, a number one overall pick and, I wouldn't say a star, but definitely a good NBA player, Kyrie Irving. But then obviously people come to town. You got to play, 41 games on the road as well. So, yeah. Andrew Wiggins will miss the games in San Francisco and the games in New York. Kyrie Irving will miss the games in New York and San Francisco. If you're an unvaxxed player on the Mavericks, you'll miss your game in New York and your game wherever. So it's for everybody.
Sure. So this is what Isaac had to say why he will not be getting the vaccine. I'll just play the question, and that way everybody can hear it if you missed it.
Jonathan, Josh Robbins with The Athletic. What is it about the vaccine that makes you hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving. I understand that the vaccine would help if you catch COVID, and you'll be able to have less symptoms from contracting it. But with me having COVID in the past and having antibodies with my current age group and physical fitness level, it's not necessarily a fear of mine. Taking the vaccine, like I said, it would decrease my chances of having a severe reaction, but it does open me up to the, albeit rare chance, but the possibility of having an adverse reaction to the vaccine itself.
Okay. We can keep going, but that's the main thing. And by the way, a lot of what he's saying is true. If you've had COVID, you have the antibodies, the adverse effects shouldn't be as bad. Just like what he said, as we know is true. If you've had the vaccine, you're more likely not to be hospitalized or have serious side effects. So basically he's saying the small chance that.
Well, yeah, my issue with his response is that the question was, what's your hesitancy? And then he gave a very long answer, which you cut off in the middle. So it goes on for a while longer.
I can keep playing. There's only 50
no.
more seconds.
No, that's fine. The point is, it's a 2-minute long answer. And the only thing that directly answers the question that was asked is the very last thing we just heard, where he said, there's a chance, albeit rare, of an adverse side effect. Everything else he says before and after that is saying why he doesn't think he needs the vaccine. Now, I totally understand. a million answers on why people would say they don't need the vaccine. It doesn't protect you. You can get it. You can still give it. Blah, 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 blah. No one's asking that question of him. And the reason no one's asking that question of him is because why NBA players need the vaccine is to play in every city, in every stadium without any issue whatsoever. So the answer about why one would get it or why one would need it is very obvious. The question of why are you hesitant to get it is the question that is asked. And he basically said he slipped it in the middle, the very small chance of an adverse side effect. And to me, that's the issue with all of it's honestly an issue with the whole anti-vax discussion. I would say Jonathan Isaac, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving have a way better argument if they just say, hey, man, I'm a fucking freedom fighter. I don't think we should be mandated to get, I don't think seatbelts should be mandated.
But I don't think they are. I think
agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think they are. I think they're just basically
concerned about a possible side effect, which is possible.
I disagree. I disagree that they're concerned about that. And here's why I disagree. Because everybody keeps saying, like, I did my own research. Everybody's doing their own research, blah, 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 blah. Even LeBron James.
Which, by the way, there's nothing funnier. Hilarious. There's nothing funnier.
Yeah.
Than fucking athletes or anyone talking about their own research. I would say
I did my own research, but my own research consisted of talking to people who have a science or medical background that I trust. But if you did your own research, the number that comes up, and this is by no means a firm figure, but even the report is about 7,900 were reports of deaths among vaccinated. Vaccine, not necessarily the cause. So almost 8,000 people died sort of somewhat immediately following getting vaccinated. So the cause doesn't necessarily mean the vaccine caused it. Now, you could have something wrong with you, and the vaccine triggered that thing that was wrong with you, right? So this is just the number, very obviously not caused by the vaccine, but maybe triggered by the vaccine. 8,000. Even if you double it, 16,000. The number of people who have been vaccinated worldwide is 6.25 billion people.
No, there's not that many billion of people in the world, is there?
More than 6.25 billion shots have been given of the COVID-19.
Shots, a lot of people double dosed.
Okay. So again, double the number of people that died, cut the number of shots given in half. That number, if you divide it, is still infinitely lower.
So there's like 7.7 billion people in the world.
Okay. So the number is still infinitely smaller than the number of NBA players who've just fucking straight up died playing basketball on the court. Percentage wise, Reggie Lewis, 1 in 5,000. You have a better chance of collapsing on an NBA court and dying than you do of getting a COVID vaccine and dying from that.
Well, look,
my point is, this is the when you say you could say that about anything. You could say that about anything. So my problem with it is, like, if this is your justification, it's a shitty justification. And so that's why I just believe that they're not doing it in good faith. I don't believe anybody's worried about what could happen. I just don't believe it.
Okay. Well, we disagree there. I think some people are, whether we know, we'll never know whether we know or not. Right.
I would respect somebody so much more as being like, you can't make me get shit I don't want to get. I think that's honest and just say it. But saying that you're worried about the openly verbalizing the extremely rare chance that something happened to me, motherfucker, then we have no idea what happens when you keep your phone next to your genitals 12 hours a day. We have no idea what happens. Can't be good for you. Can't be.
Well,
but you do it for the trade-off.
You know,
because you're fully connected to the world, and that's better than what could potentially happen.
We're like in unprecedented times, and that's the thing. And I don't think a lot of people don't realize that. You know, we're in weird times with all this stuff, but you know, I would argue overall, I think everything's been handled extremely poorly from the world's perspective. I would argue, you know, I guess
certainly by our country.
Sure. And I would argue a lot of countries. I guess my perspective is this might sound bleak. My perspective through all this is I didn't trust a lot of people before. You know, I don't trust our government to handle it. I don't trust certain institutions. I don't trust politicians. Then again, doesn't mean that I'm on the other side and, you know, trust other things. It's just, you have to do you, right? And I think for sure, at first, I think a lot of people have worries about the shot and the vaccine, but at the end of the day,
then don't get it.
Yeah, that's
that's cool. But here's the thing: we are self-employed comedians. We could not get it, and then we could just not go to a Knicks game. I could have not gone to that concert in Santa Barbara where they made me like. If I didn't get it, it would affect nobody. But then you get into the conversation of what are we really having a conversation about when we talk to NBA players? You're talking about weighing two things. On one side, here's the scales. On one side, you could get it and play everywhere and not ever have to answer a question from the media at all, ever. You just got it, and you're just going to play. And on the other side, you could answer questions endlessly about it, lose money, not be able to play in New York, not be able to play in San Francisco, be labeled an anti-vaxxer, and blah, 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 blah. Now, if you say your reasoning for choosing that side is, fuck you, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do with my life, okay. But if your reasoning is, there's a 1 in 100 million chance that something happens to me, well, then you're just a dipshit. You just come off as an asshole.
I mean, maybe, you know, I think people fear these things, and I think these fears come out of certain legitimacy. I think we all fear the unknown. And for a lack of a better term, that's what this is. I know for me, just me personally, and obviously I'm not an NBA player. For me personally, it really wasn't that much of a question. I just wanted to get on with my life. And the earliest I could get my 2 doses, I got them. I've basically lived a normal life since then. And that was my thing. I didn't, like you're saying, I didn't want to have to go get a COVID test before I saw the Grateful Dead, because that's what I would have had to done. Instead, I just had my card and I showed them.
I didn't want to have to do it before going to Mets games. I didn't want to have to lie to people who said, hey, you can't see my kids if you don't get vaccinated. You can't see my parents if you don't get vaccinated. Sure. You can't see whatever. I was like, cool. I've talked to people. I've done a minimal amount of research about how vaccines in general work and the possibility of long-term side effects. I'm not a scientist. I probably did a whole lot less research than Jonathan Isaac, and I found out very quickly, literally nothing's going to happen.
Well, I mean, look, at the same token, everything I'm saying, it doesn't mean I support certain things. Like, I don't support vaccine passports. I don't support like personally, I'm probably in the middle ground of like people are going so hard one way or the other. And I'm like, well, you know, you can have different opinions on these things. And I think that's why everyone's fighting, and it's never ending. But like
my problem is always the people like Andy, you and I. Okay, well, yeah, we don't support vaccine passports. Okay, I also don't support passports. I don't support seatbelt laws. I don't support speed limits. I don't support the wall. You know, the problem in America is there's so much literal and figurative fence sitting. Imagine saying you don't support vaccine passports, but you do support the wall. That's the Venn diagram of people who are anti-vax and support the wall is probably a fucking circle.
I'm sure
so
it
you're
is.
literally saying, how dare you tell me what to do? And then also being like, hey, we have drawn invisible lines here, and how dare you break invisible lines? It's like, motherfucker, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is a invisible vaccine line. There's an invisible vaccine line at the Staples Center. You can or can't come in unless you've had the fucking shot. You can or cannot enter the United States if you have a fucking United States passport. It's all totally hypothetical. So like, my thing is pick a fucking lane. I don't support vaccine passports, but I also got the vaccine because I don't have to fucking deal with it. I don't support passports.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope, and maybe that's being optimistic, that we'll have an end to these discussions of sports, and because we just want to watch sports, and but at the same token, like we said last episode, if these guys don't play, it's not going to affect anything.
Well, it's certainly not going to affect us if Jonathan Isaacs doesn't play, and it would have not affected the NBA playoffs for the past 5 years if Bradley Beal does or doesn't play. Kyrie doesn't fucking play. It's like
he's injured again.
Yeah, it's like, I hate to say it, but like, if Kyrie is the poster child for one side, you're probably on the dumb side of an argument.
Sure. Well, I mean, he's got a bad track record for sure. No denying that. You don't want the guy who's a flat earther.
But again, my thing is like, I'm here for the argument that like, yo, fuck you. I'm just a man on earth. You ain't going to tell me you can inject me with some shit. And it's like, cool. Then just don't play basketball. Just don't play in the NBA.
Look, he can play in the NBA all he wants. It's just he's not going to play in the 2 times in New York.
Right. And he's going to get tested more often, and he'll probably miss games because of close contact with COVID. And
yeah.
like,
so his life's a lot more work for sure.
And the world is overcorrecting for a fucking global pandemic. Surprise, surprise. The world all, they're also bugging our phones because, 0.0000001% of COVID deaths died on 9/11. Now they're bugging all of our phones. These things happen. People overreact to shit.
Yeah. Well, we're discussing health, Joe, and this is a perfect time to discuss some of the friends of the show that I referenced earlier in this episode.
Let's talk health.
Let's talk about crowd health, right? Let's talk about how you recently went through this with your knee, how dealing with insurance companies and all the high premiums and the deductibles and the thousands of dollars that you have to pay when you have a costly injury is awful.
It's the worst thing ever.
Right? Because people in the United States are always concerned about the cost of health insurance. I know I am, because there are no good options. But our friends at Crowd Health, this is going to be an option for you guys. Now, it isn't health insurance. It's a better way to pay medical expenses. So basically, you have a membership as a monthly subscription. You can start or stop when it's convenient for you. It's simple and transparent pricing, customized to fit your needs. And Crowd Health lowers your monthly healthcare costs, and you can see any doctor you want. You simply use their app and find nearly any doctor in the country and rank them from 1 to 5 on a star system. So Crowd Health. So then and next you scan your bills, and Crowd Health will take it from there. You press a button to receive virtual care anytime, anywhere. So this is another option. Again, it's not health insurance, but to help reduce your cost. Crowd Health is able to offer amazing prices because of its community of health-conscious members. But for a limited time, Dirty Sports listeners get their first month free. And after you've been a member, Crowd Health will include a fitness wearable, such as like a Fitbit or something like that. That's 30 days to try risk-free, plus the fitness wearable. Just go to joincrowdhealth.com/fit and enter code DIRTY at sign up. That's joincrowdhealth.com/fit. Promo code dirty. Once again, Crowd Health is not health insurance. It's a community-powered alternative. Terms and conditions may apply.
You know what? They had me at an alternative to health insurance.
Yeah, right.
As far as our country, I know we're number one in a lot of things, but health insurance ain't it. So
No.
if there's an alternative to health insurance, I'm in.
Yeah. By the way, they sent speaking of health insurance, I think they tried to bill my dad for something. So like to me, that's health insurance in a nutshell.
Yeah.
He ain't been around for over a year now. So I don't know who you're billing. Now, another good alternative, if you want to get in shape, Joe, if you want to work on your exercise routine, mix it up, improve what you're doing, you should download the Fitbod app, because Fitbod creates a fitness program that continually adapts with new exercise and dynamic intensity that adjusts just to how you're progressing, like your personal progress. So you'll be challenged to meet your goals at a different pace. I love Fitbod because I'm not a weight guy. And since I downloaded the Fitbod app a few months ago, it's personalized it to my goals of like the body workouts, right?
Yeah.
So
There's so much in the Fitbod app, which I've also got. You can put in your intro plan what kind of equipment you have, what kind of equipment you don't have, what kind of workout regimen. Are you trying to have more cardio? You're trying to build strength? Are you trying to get, trying to lose weight, whatever. And basically you put in what you have and you put in your goals, and it crafts a personalized workout for you.
exactly.
Not even a personalized workout regimen.
Exactly. So personalized training can be tough on a budget, as we know, but Fitbod is only $9.99 a month or $59.99 a year. Sign up now and you'll get 20% off your membership. So 25% off that $60 a year. Pick up the pace on your fitness journey with Fitbod today, and your future self will thank you. Get 25% off your membership at fitbod.me/dirty. That's 25% off at fitbod.me/dirty. Okay, let's do something a little different this episode.
Let's do something different.
Let's do calls now.
Wow. Calls before
Picks.
picks.
We're going to keep you guys around for the NFL picks. And one of the calls is related to the picks. That's another reason I'm doing this. An idea.
Great.
So the hotline is 310-359-8365. Give us a call, and hopefully we can get around to playing it. We can start with that. So this is an idea which we could maybe implement tonight as far as how we do the weekly picks.
Okay.
What's up, fellas? It's Matt, longtime DirtBall. Quick, just observation point, I suppose, and I guess I should first throw out the caveat, Ruther, I'm driving, so sorry if the phone quality isn't great, but I wish you guys, when you were making your weekly picks, had some sort of strategy as far as who was going to pick first, or so that you weren't making the same picks every time, maybe alternating picks or something along those lines, because I feel like sometimes you guys change your picks based on what the other person picks. So just something to throw out or consider. Maybe something worth looking into. Thanks, fellas. Keep it up. Stay dirty.
I think it's a good idea. I don't know if you know this. The last 2 weeks out of 32 picks, we only had 4 different picks.
I know. And I will say that, these past few weeks, as I've seen this trend happening, I've even said this, is like, sometimes I will literally wait, because I tend to pontificate, and I'm always worried, like, especially when I'm like, ooh, this one's going to be on. Like, I feel like I could guess for the most part games where the majority of people are probably playing one side. And now Vegas would say the whole point of the spread is to get people equal on both sides. But I feel like there's obvious ones. But the ones where it's different, I'll always go like, oh, what do you got here? because I'm not trying. I'm desperately trying to have different picks.
Well, it sounds like the best way to do it is just take turns.
Sure.
I think to me, that's the easy solution. I go, you go, I go, you go, or vice versa.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And we can do that today when we get to the picks, because it seems like that's the only. But also, I'll be honest, I think the last 2 weeks we were on the same. Like the picks I made that were different than you were classic picks that we would like. Like last week, I took Detroit in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like Detroit and the Texans. Like those are traditional. Ruther's gonna make some stupid picks. I think I keep taking the Jets. We were like, dude, what are you doing? Like
you got the Lions last week though.
I did. I wanted them to win. I it's the Lions. I mean, I lost all. By the way, I lost all respect for McCockner after what he tweeted today.
I didn't see it. I don't follow Barry McCockner.
Well,
I can't keep up with all that.
I know he did something though. He's rating quarterbacks, and he was like basically saying Jared Goff isn't as bad as people make him. And I'm like, what planet are you on, dude?
Yeah.
Jared Goff is we established that Jared Goff was a medium pizza the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He is a medium pizza.
In fact, we invented the medium pizza for Jared Goff.
We did.
And Mitchell Trubisky.
We did.
I'll also add that I play in multiple spread pick'em leagues, and for my own sake of like what I think helps me be correct. When I do those, I tend to like fly through them and try not to overthink them. And so even when I do our show, I always pull up my pick'em and I check in with what I thought in a blink moment, because I think that gives me the best chance of being correct. So despite what I say, or, sometimes I waver, who do I like this? Do I like that? Most of the time it's almost exactly what I already decided before the show even started.
Yeah. Well, let's play a call from a Lions fan. How about that?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Is this new? No, let me see. I think this is it. Okay.
Hey, Peter here, Michigan DirtBall. First off. Fuck. Anyway, perspective from a Lions fan, besides just like depression, Jared Goff is awful. He's not actually as bad as I thought he was going to be. I thought it was like bad. But I like the coach more than I thought I would. I don't know. His offense looks pretty good. As much as I could really hope for. Second T-shirt idea. Ruther and then Russell Wilson, and Ruther just screaming, Wilson. Yeah, you get it. Yeah. All right. I don't have a condoms therefore, so later.
I like Russell Wilson's head floating in the ocean, Ruther on a raft. Wilson.
I think Pete Carroll's head's gonna be floating in the was it Puget Sound after this? I'm telling you, I think it's gonna be rough sledding for them. I know it's 3 games in.
I mean, there's never been a more classic Russ Stan fucking take than it's Pete Carroll's fault now.
I'm saying he's gonna take the blame.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're 3 games in, and that division is so fucking good. And it's classic Seattle. All 3 games, they look great in the first half. They can't score in the second half, and their defense is garbage. It's just garbage. I think they can look. I do have faith in Russ. Like, he's good enough, in my opinion, to possibly get them 9-10 wins. But, it's going to be tough in that division. That is a stacked division.
Yeah, I agree.
And by the way, back to his call, you know, Jared Goff, he's a medium pizza. We didn't call him a small pizza. Like, he can have his moments. just like when I get a medium pizza, I guess it has its moments. Not really, though.
I mean, the bottom line with Jared Goff is exactly what we're seeing is sure, Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the best coach and the best roster. And guess what? They didn't score any fucking points in that Super Bowl and they lost. So it really, like, I don't know how much, like, we got peak Goff. Peak Goff already happened.
We did.
Now you could argue Jared Goff like continues to grow as a quarterback, and but like Sean McVay knows more football than us, and he disagrees. He got rid of him and was like, "I'll fucking take my chances with Matt Stafford." And unlike so many teams, he didn't overvalue first-round draft capital. He was like, "I will mortgage first-round draft capital for a better quarterback."
And here's an observation. Here's a visual observation I have of Sean McVay. He looks happier. He looks more enthused. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. I think him on those sidelines, because he doesn't have that albatross just hanging over him, which was Jared Goff. I think now that he has a competent and really, really, really good quarterback,
I think he's just got less work on his hands. He's
That's
not
what I'm-
calling
that's
the
what I'm-
play down.
that's
to
what I'm
fucking
saying.
10 seconds left in the.
but I
play
think
clock.
I think it shows on the sideline.
I also think, a big part of it was, listen, last year the Rams won a playoff game without Jared Goff.
it's a good point. We forget that. In Seattle, I know they didn't have fans, but still, on the road, they had a third string quarterback.
Now Russ threw one right to one of their defensive players on a screen pass.
Oh, you had to do it. You had to do it. Kick a guy when he's down. Oh, boy. That was a bad pass. That was a bad, bad pass. Let's keep it NFL. I like this next call because I think it's a great discussion point that no one's talking about.
What's up, Joe and Andy? DirtBall Evan here from Ohio, and I got another NFL hypothetical for you guys. After watching Justin Tucker's kick on Sunday, I looked at some stats and I saw a tweet from Field Yates. Justin Tucker has now made 50 straight field goals in the fourth quarter or overtime. Of those 50, 21 have been for 40-plus yards, 7 from 50-plus yards, and 1 from 66. He's never missed a kick in the final minute of regulation. So hypothetically, we went back to 2012 when Justin Tucker entered the league, and every NFL team knew exactly what his career was going to be and how awesome he was going to be as a kicker. Where would he go in the NFL draft? And I was talking with a buddy, and I honestly think he's worth a first-round pick at least. And honestly, top 15 might be in the range because he is such a weapon and so valuable to any team with that needs kicking. So let me know what you guys think. And condoms are for Jason Garrett. Stay dirty.
Oh, best condoms are for I've ever heard. I'll say this. So there's one thing I'll add to his call, and then there's one part of his call that I will say is there's some flaw in his logic, although I mostly agree with what he's saying. First of all, I'd argue at this point, Justin Tucker's on his way to being the greatest kicker of all time.
I was just going to say, to me, he already is.
And
he's already the best kicker ever.
And the reason is, sure, he doesn't have the Vinatieri resume of kicking big playoff kicks, kicking ways into the Super Bowl, kicking Super Bowl wins, but I'd argue it's because he hasn't had the opportunity. And if he did, he would. Although, didn't he miss the extra? Doesn't he have a big extra point miss that got the Patriots to a Super Bowl, or is it the other way around?
Good question. I thought he had a big miss somewhere.
That was like an extra point miss or like a chip shot miss in a Patriots playoff game. But my brain is also mush.
Yeah, because I'm looking at that tweet right now by Field Yates. He's made 50 straight field goals. That's amazing in the fourth quarter overtime. 50.
Yeah.
Of those 50, 21 have been 40 plus yards, 7 50 plus yards, and one from the long 66 yarder. He's never missed a kick in the final minute of regulation. He's 16 of 16. I mean, right there to me makes him the best kicker. Like those stats. He hits them when they matter most.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I just pulled up a YouTube video entitled, I'm glad, yeah. Flacco tosses late TV, but Tucker misses the PAT. Oh, Saints win. So that wasn't a playoff one. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. My brain is fucking mush.
Well, look, regardless, the
Okay.
value
Anyway.
he brings.
To go back to the other portion of his question, I could argue that he is a first round value, but I would argue that he is not a top 15 value. The reason being, he's a first round value to a team where he joins your team and he immediately is your weapon. Whereas if you're a top 15 pick, you got a lot of bigger problems than the fucking kicker.
Okay, that's fair logic. That's fair.
You got a lot bigger problems than your kicker. Now, the idea that a playoff team takes him as a first round pick, okay, a borderline playoff team takes him as a first round pick. Yeah, I could see it. But first, you need to be in position to use this weapon.
Sure.
And Justin Tucker kicking 60-yarders because you can't get across half field because you're the Detroit Lions, you don't take him fucking third overall.
Sure. Yeah,
so unless it was like a situation where, somebody owns somebody's draft capital and they're picking 10th and they're a playoff team, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, like the Raiders taking Sebastian Janikowski 17th was reckless.
At the time and to this day, it seems like an insane decision.
What, the Janikowski pick?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't underestimate though a kicker. You really like a kicker who's this good. Again, we're talking arguably the GOAT of kickers. He's that good. You cannot underestimate his value. He straight up won them that game. And if he's that clutch, that's why I've said this before, and I always say I never understand the big schools having shitty kickers in college. Like I've never understood a school like Bama who is so loaded
because he doesn't give a fuck about giving a scholarship to a kicker.
He clearly doesn't. But at times when it matters, it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is just, and he sings opera. I mean, the guy, can we talk about that for a minute? He sings opera. The guy has a pair of, he's got some, that's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, here it is. It might have been the reason we have Tucker after all. 2011 playoffs, Patriots 23, Ravens 20, AFC Championship game. Patriots advanced after Lee Evans drops go-ahead TD and Billy Cundiff misses game-tying 32-yard field goal.
That's right. It was Cundiff.
And this is why Justin Tucker exists.
I was blacked out drunk that game.
I think I was watching it at Dan Gormley's apartment in Santa Monica.
I was so blacked out. I missed I drank through the night. Oh, how so much has changed in 10 years. I drank through the night to that game in the morning and was dead on my bed while that game was going on.
A young Andy Ruther.
How times have changed. Now I'm seeing in the YouTube comments, people are like, this is kind of late for Ruther. Is this, now it's like, oh, Ruther's up past his bedtime.
Ruther going to be able to get up for hot yoga in the morning?
No, yoga's at 11. That's not hot. It's geriatric yoga.
Sorry.
Or as one of my nieces calls it, boomer yoga.
Boomer yoga.
Yeah, whatevs. Okay, let's get
whatevs.
Let's get Oh, this one's been sitting here. Let's just keep the NFL thing going. This one's been sitting here for a minute. This is for you.
What's up, Joe and Andy? It's Adam from Colorado. I saw something over the weekend in the Panthers game. This guy had what
is this
appeared
it?
to be about.
No, hold on. This is we've already done one. Sorry, Adam.
Oh man, I always feel bad for the DirtBalls who get the first half of their call and then
Oh, okay.
Fuck this dude. This fucking idiot was not the guy I was thinking of. It's some other asshole. Some guys, some dirtballs fucking dream to hear his call on the show. He's like, I saw in the Panthers Bronco game. He's like, oh, I remember this one. This is shit. Fuck your call, dude.
No, I'm gonna play it because we already know the answer to this. It's funny when I forget to put because I put the area codes and I sometimes forget there's two of the same area code. We'll finish this because we actually tweeted this out. The guy who had like the 45 Miller Lights. I'll play it.
20 different empty Miller Lite cans under his chair. Don't know if you guys saw this, but the question is, what's the most, I don't know, I guess, impressive drinking you've seen in person? Interested to hear your stories. Or, Andy, what's the most impressive smoking you've seen in person? Anyway, stay dirty, guys.
Well, we already referenced it earlier in the show. Kobe Bryant shot.
The Kobe shot. Like I've never seen anybody. I've never even been around anybody that could do that. Now, obviously, it wasn't just like a spur of the moment thing. It was very well planned. There was a dietary regimen involved early in the day.
Like training for a marathon.
It was 100%. It was like, I mean, I planned that for months. But that's certainly the most I've ever seen or been a part of. Obviously, the thing with guys who drink like 25 beers at a game, I'm just like, I'm more impressed with how rich they are than how fucking much they can drink. Who can afford 20 mil? Like, what are you, fucking Elon Musk? Like, who can Miller Lights at a ball game are $19. You're just casually going to a football game and spending $600 on beer. Who are you? And they're never in a fucking.
They're always in a shitty section.
Yeah, they're in like the 400 level. He's like, I can only spare $80 a week on season tickets, but I'll spend $690 on Miller Lights when I get there. Like, dude, how many beers are you drinking?
Also with beer,
like you win a scratcher on your way into the fucking stadium.
Also with the beer, it's like, how do you have enough space in your stomach? Man?
Yeah, you're just pissing every fucking 8 seconds.
You know the dude we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
he had like a case of Miller Lite underneath,
and he had pint bottles.
Yeah, and you're right. He was
or
up
pint
like
cans, whatever they were.
He wasn't exactly in the best seats either.
No, you're like, dude, just get fucking buy a for the amount of money you spend on. Get a suite. The beers are free.
Get a suite, bro. This is not cost effective. You are not getting a good return on
your money. Is way better spent getting a suite and then just drinking endless beers for free. Beers are free in the suite.
Sure. What's the most you've seen someone do with like edibles or something?
Nothing stands out to me as like insane.
I mean,
by the way, the drinking wise, besides the Kobe Bryant shot challenge, I never got to look at this guy's face. Still, the moment that. Remember the guy I told you about in Texas after you left me in Austin by myself? I was taking a shit at the Marriott. This guy came in and literally housed a 6-pack of Lone Star in a minute and a half. He choked. He sat down in the bathroom stall next to me. 6-pack of Lone Star goes on the floor. One of them comes out, and I swear I've described it the same way. Always, it sounded like he was choking on beer. He was like, he wouldn't even let it pour out. He had to suck it out, put the bottle down, pulled the next one up, and in less than 2 minutes, he housed an entire 6-pack and walked out. And I couldn't even finish shitting and wiping fast enough to like see who this guy. I was like, was that a superhero?
You did. He was just an alcoholic.
I think he was either an alcoholic
with a special skill.
Yeah. He was either an alcoholic or I've always thought about this. I was like, was he meeting like his father-in-law for the first time and was like hella nervous? But then it's like, just go to the bar and ask for like 3
2
whiskey shots.
Yeah, but that wouldn't give him the ability to be able to basically open his throat.
He was more than opening his throat. He was sucking it in. It was insane. I still, to this day, I'm like, this is my Lewis Black. Like, Lewis Black has that bit about hearing about the horse, and it gives him I'm still like, I ran out, like, where is this guy? I could never find him. Like, who are you?
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know as far as like the amount of edibles I've seen somebody do. What's the thing Joey Diaz used to give? I think was it 100 milligrams? He called it the Star.
Yeah. I think it was hundreds of milligrams. It was like 2,000 milligrams or something like that.
No, I think it was.
I think it was. I think it was like a 2,000 milligram, like Black Star of Death or whatever.
I'm curious. Because I like Star of Death. How strong are the straw? I mean, you must be 18 to view this. Yeah, I'm 18. Okay. According to this is from 4 years ago. Well, there's a lot of different opinions. 200 milligrams each for the Black Stars, 125 milligrams for the Red Stars, or another answer says 300 to 500 milligrams. Oh, that's per pack. Dude, I'd be dead. Did you see how I'm from 10 milligrams?
I took a 50 milligram cookie one time, not realizing it was 50 milligrams. I hadn't eaten. That's the video I have of me passing out at Lula's, like falling face down on the table. I had 50 milligrams, hadn't eaten, started drinking, went out, played Frisbee for a while, then started drinking margaritas.
Oh,
and just whiteyed.
All right. This was the other call I was going to get to. This is why it was for you, because it involved Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah. Where's our boy Fitz these days?
Hey, Joe and Andy, number one dirtball from South Bend, Indiana, calling Stephen Dermer. Just kind of curious. I know you guys talked about Tony Romo not being a Hall of Famer, and I 100% agree with that. But if you had to choose between Tony Romo and Ryan Fitzpatrick, obviously neither of which are Hall of Fame candidates, but who would you put in the Hall of Fame between the two? Obviously, Fitzmagic never really stayed with one team or never really had too many years and good years. I mean, he'd have good starts and good runs, but he'd never have a continuous good season. And, I mean, Romo had a couple good seasons, but he had all those good teams and never could do anything with it. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Stay dirty.
I mean, so the question...
I can't wait to hear your answer on this.
Well, the question wasn't like who you'd rather have. Well, first of all, my answer for both is exactly the same. But the question wasn't who you'd rather have. The question is who you put in the Hall of Fame first. And I'd argue Ryan Fitzpatrick's still playing football. Like, Tony Romo didn't accomplish anything in his short amount of time, we both agree, that makes him a Hall of Fame candidate, in my opinion. He didn't win any fucking big games. He didn't win an MVP. He didn't do anything. In my opinion, Tony Romo's Hall of Fame resume is almost none. I think you could at least make a small argument for Ryan. Not that you're making an argument for him being in the Hall of Fame, but I think you're like, at least with Ryan Fitzpatrick, you could say he's still compiling long-term career stats.
All right, side by side, about the same amount of yards. Fitz hasn't beat right now. 800
hasn't beat right now. Well, Tony Romo's done, so he hasn't beat.
That's what I'm saying. So
counting.
So Fitz hasn't beat with more yards. He's also played 4 more seasons. Romo still hasn't beat 25 more touchdowns. Interceptions, Fitz is crushing him. Obviously, wins and losses. Romo's 78-49. Fitzpatrick is 59-87 because he played on a lot of bad teams. Rushing yards. Man, you forget Fitz has 575 career rushing yards.
You'd love to see it.
I mean, it is pretty good. Romo only has 238. I mean,
I think we both agree neither of them are Hall of Fame candidates.
Yeah, of course.
The only thing I would argue
Fitzpatrick's never played a playoff game.
Right. Tony Romo's won what, 2?
Yeah, he's 2-4 all time.
The argument would be like if you were making an argument for who deserved to be in the Hall of Fame more, I just don't know that statistically you even have an argument for either. But like Fitzpatrick, you have an argument. Like he's played for fucking every team in the league. He plays for X amount of years. Like, you know what I mean? And he's not done. So it's like, I think that if you were trying to make an argument, you can make an argument. If somebody plays 25 years in the NFL, that's something. If somebody plays for 20 of 32 NFL teams, that's something. Otherwise, statistically, neither of them have anything that argues that they should be in the Hall of Fame.
And side note, he's pumping out kids too. I think Fitz has 8 kids.
And the beard and the fucking, the vibe. Fitzmagic.
He's been. I'm just saying, Fitz is fucking. I'm just gonna call it as it is. Fitz is fucking.
And I saw the stat about Derek Carr's first 3 games. And Derek Carr is like the 3rd most yards through 3 games ever. And the only people he's behind are somebody during one of their crazy, like Peyton Manning or something like that, and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
What, his time with the Bucs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Forgot about that. All right, so those are the calls today. 310-359-8365. We do have our picks to get to. And as always, our picks are brought to you by FanDuel. Every weekly pick segment is brought to you by FanDuel. Guys, if you're not signed up, just do it. I know you guys play. You guys all play fantasy. Go check out their sports book. Go play fantasy. You can set new lineups every day. They have so many different types of formats, the main slate, the single game, the best ball, the snake draft. You can even do private contest with your friends. And it's important to listen to us because we'll keep you in the loop on who you should and shouldn't start. Don't start T. Higgins this week because he's not playing for the Bengals on Thursday. So start playing fantasy football this season, and FanDuel will give you a 20% bonus on your first deposit up to $500. Experience season-long wins without the season-long waits. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/dirty to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com/dirty. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 30 days. Okay, so let me go here to the FanDuel Sportsbook and pull up the old NFL. And like we said, we're going to have to take turns here. I go, you go. You want to do it like that?
Sure.
To keep it fair. All right, first up, I mentioned this earlier. The Jags come into town. Battle of the Cats. Meow.
Are you high?
No, I wish. No, I'm just high on life. Crushed those 90 laps earlier. I got the swimmer hair going in effect. Okay, so Jags travel to Cincinnati. I'll say my spiel. I want to take Jacksonville because of that half point. I think the Bengals are 2-1. This reeks of it's a trap. It's a short week.
What is the spread?
7.5.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Cincinnati wins. They go 3-1. And I know Jacksonville's looked bad, but again, Urban Meyer's coming back. Like he coached in Ohio State. He coached at Bowling Green.
I didn't even think of that.
He's from the area, right? He coached my high school back in the day as a DB coach. That was actually his first job when he went to University of Cincinnati. Like he's coming back. So I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. We'll probably have a lot
I
of.
was like, you're talking me out of it now. I also have Jacksonville. The half point hook is what got me. I also think, Jacksonville's played their way into some game. Like there's been moments, and I'm just not super high on like I got burned on the Bengals last week, and I almost feel like
Me too.
where some people would get burned and be like, oh, maybe they're better than I thought. I'm like, oh, the Bengals are one of those teams now that they're not going to convince me on a week-to-week basis to believe in them more.
And the truth is, you're probably like me. I think they'll win. I would definitely not be shocked if the Bengals lose.
I wouldn't be shocked if they lose. I wouldn't be shocked if they
win by 20.
Yeah, but the 7.5 just seems big for a
short week too. I think that
Thursday night game against us,
two sloppy teams.
Sloppy teams. I'm not going to call the Bengals bad, but I'm not going to call them good. Between a bad team and a not good team.
Sure. All right, so we're both going Jacksonville. Next up, the Washington football team travels to Atlanta, where they are a 1.5 favorite. So your turn to go.
I looked at this one, and I got to say, this is the one team on my pick'em list where I actually made one pick and then changed my mind. Washington looking bad last week against Buffalo doesn't scare me that much. I think Washington can move the ball, and I think that the Falcons are pretty bad. The Falcons defense is not good. Their offense is suspect. But that being said, the Falcons to me are a team that their worst year, they're still going to be fucking hanging around. They look bad in 2 games. They get a win against the Giants. I feel like they could win a home game against the Washington football team. So I'm going to take the Falcons to win and cover.
All right. Yeah. So Fitz is still out. He's going to be out for a while. So Taylor Heineke is the quarterback. I'm going to take Washington because of their defense to win and cover.
Their defense gave up 40 points last week.
I know. I think they bounce back. I hope they bounce back.
I think, and by the way, I'm not this is also obviously an opportunity for us to talk about the league. It's like, I'm not sure Washington's defense is good. I'm not sure they were good last year. Now that come to think of it,
they were good last year.
Well, they played 6 games against terrible football teams in the non-starting quarterback, Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles. Like they had the games that here's what I'll say about the Washington football team defense. And I don't think this is really that important given we're not seeing the Washington football team matter late in this NFL season. But I think the Washington football team is talented enough defensively to shut down bad teams and also just get absolutely fucked by good teams. Now, the Falcons aren't a good team, but I'm going to stick with them to win.
All right. We've talked about them a lot this show. The Detroit Lions travel to Chicago where they're 3-point underdogs. Bears are just a mess at the quarterback situation. We've discussed how Nagy is just such a bad coach. The Lions coming off such a tough loss. The Lions have been able to move the ball. And for that reason, I am going to say the Lions go on the road and win in Chicago. Not only do they cover the spread, this is my Andy Ruther upset pick of the week.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we let you go first. I am going with the Bears here. I think the Bears got, I don't want to say exposed last week. I mean, you have Andy Dalton out, you have a quarterback in. They do a horrible job last week of getting anything going offensively. I don't think Nagy's a good coach. In fact, I think he's a debacle of a coach. But I think what gets people off his back for a week, not because it's a good game plan or anything, but just because he's playing a bad team, is they look good this week. And, the Bears are an 8-9 football team by the end of the year because They have teams like the Detroit Lions. And honestly, here's the other thing, like I just said about the Bengals. I actually think the Lions are bad. And so the fact that they looked good last week and almost beat a good team and lost on a wild field goal just makes me think now they have a game where they're just pure shit. I'll take the Bears to win and cover.
Tennessee travels to New York. I keep taking the. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, you make your pick first. So the Tennessee travels to New York, where they are 7-point favorites against the Jets.
I'm going to take the Titans. I think the Jets are bad. I think the Titans are a team, again, it's going to beat up on bad teams. I'd like this a lot more if it wasn't in New York, but like, how much do the Jets how much does where the Jets play matter? I think the Jets, and I said this when I was talking about my Giants last week, I think Zach Wilson is going to be fine. But I don't think this is a matter of coaching. I don't think this is a matter of what. I just think the Jets just don't have talent. They have injuries. They don't have talent. I think the Titans are a good football team. I'm going to take the Titans to cover.
Yeah, I don't like 7, but for the same reasons, I also just think the Jets are garbage. I have to go with Tennessee on this. All right. The Browns travel AFC, NFC North game. Browns travel to Minnesota. They are 2-point favorites against the Vikings. I like Cleveland. I don't like Minnesota. Now, Minnesota played pretty well last week. Kirk Cousins looked really good. The offense looked great against Seattle. Doesn't matter to me. I think the Browns are a much better team than Seattle. Therefore, I think the Browns win and cover at that -2.
I think the Browns win and cover as well. I think they have a good defensive front. I think that they will pressure the quarterback. You pressure Kirk Cousins, he turns into a god-awful quarterback. I mean, this is my Kirk Cousins. This is my whole thing with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, garbage time wizard, bad team wizard. Last week, he looks great against Seattle. Not that they're a bad team, but they don't have a good defense. You pressure Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is absolute fucking mush. I agree with you. I think the Browns win and cover.
All right. Next up will be your first pick. Indy travels to Miami. Oh, what a terrible game this is. The Dolphins with your boy, Josie and the Pussycats, Jacoby Brisholi, Chicken Parm, Josie. I don't know what you want to call him. Miami is 1.5 favorites.
Yeah. The fact that it's in Miami doesn't make me feel good. But first of all, I think everybody's overestimating the Josie Brisholi revenge game.
Will Tug be in Miami present at this game? Number one Josie Brisholi fan, Tug Coker.
Mostly, this actually, my pick on this, which is the Colts, has a lot less to do with the Miami Dolphins and who's playing quarterback with them than it does with the Colts, who have been in all their football games and have been sniffing around to win. They certainly shouldn't be an 0-4 team.
That's my.
So I'm going with the Colts.
That's my reasoning right there. I just can't see the Colts starting 0-4. I just can't. So I think they win and cover. All right. Carolina travels to Dallas. Dallas coming off that big win against the Eagles. No respect for the Panthers. 4.5-point road dogs. Therefore, I'm for sure riding this Panthers defense. 4.5. Put some respect on Sam Darnold in Carolina. Panthers cover. Good chance they win.
I can absolutely see it happening. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I don't think I actually think it's more of the Cowboys offense at home, inside, puts up a lot of points. And I'll be interested to see if Sam Darnold, who has looked great so far, can keep up. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win and cover. I'm kind of shocked too. I just don't believe in the Panthers that much. I actually don't believe in the Cowboys that much either. but I just think the Panthers have had a good couple weeks. I think the ride comes to an end, and I could see them giving up a lot of points.
All right, this next game is you'll be there. Giants Saints in New Orleans. 7-point Saint favorites. Your call, Joe.
This is tough for me. This is tough.
Come on, be your homer. Be your homer.
Well, it's actually the opposite of a homer pick, although I am going to take the Giants. But the reason I'm going to take the Giants is twofold. One, the Saints haven't put up a ton of points other than the week 1 win. And also, honestly, the opposite. I actually don't think the Giants have a chance in this game, but I think they're going to make it as painful. They're going to make this 0-4 loss as painful as possible on me. I honestly hope it's over in the first quarter and I can just, enjoy the fact that I'm in the Superdome and I'm at a football game and whatever, and there's no pressure. But I have a feeling that in the fourth quarter, I'll be on the edge of my seat and it will be a fucking close game and I'll get burned by, another devastatingly painful loss, this time in person, because now I actually feel like my team's out to get me. So sadly, because I don't believe in the Giants, I will take them.
Man, if I don't take the Giants, I got to root for Jameis. Oh, absolutely disgusting. I think I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to take the Saints, and I'll be rooting for Jameis Winston to put up some points.
Now, here's a question for you, because it's funny you just said that. When you watch the games on Sunday, are you rooting based on your picks? Or like if it's a coin flip based on your like feelings on the teams?
No, the truth is I forget my picks.
Yeah, me too. A lot of times.
That's the truth.
More often than not, I'm like rooting against my like personal interest as opposed to like the spread.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not following the spread like Jameis. That's why I'm saying this. I think the Saints are a much better team, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I think we both agree to that.
But I'm just like, for this game, I'm not going to be mad. Like, if
for me, for example, you took the Panthers, I took the Cowboys. I'm rooting for you to win. I hope you fucking absolutely get that one.
Yeah.
Even if it was coming down to our final, like the bet of the year, I'd rather spend a day in IKEA than root for the Cowboys to win a game.
By the way, completely off topic. I don't know why it just hit me. You know John Jay, right?
Yo, John Jay. That John Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who he's related to?
John Jay, the first Secretary of State of the United States or whatever.
He's related to Justo Jay, who was one of the drug smugglers in Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix. They just throw that in at the end, and Justo J isn't a big part at all of the thing because he was like a minor guy.
No way.
But like
no way, John Jay and Justo J.
My mind, I know this is completely off topic. I was like, they just showed at the end because I finished that 6-part docuseries. Like, wait, John Jay is related to Justo J? Especially the history that
I thought he might be related to John Jay, former president of the Continental Congress.
Oh, yeah, no, not related to him. So yeah, his dad served some time. Total side note there. Okay, the Chiefs travel to Philly. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites. Is it my turn or your turn?
I just did the Giants. So
okay, 7 points. I don't care if it's 70 points. Chiefs win and cover.
Agreed. It's just, especially coming off 2 losses.
Yeah.
Especially coming off the performance that the Eagles gave against the Cowboys. If you can't stop Dak and the Cowboys, how many points are the fucking Chiefs going to score?
Sure. Our Texans.
Andy Reid revenge game.
If he didn't make it out of the hospital for his dehydration. By the way, you hate to make light of someone's health, but I have to say this. Of all the problems with Andy Reid, the guy is morbidly obese. If there were like heart issues, I'm like, okay, cool. Some sort of blood clot. They hit us with dehydration. I mean,
they hit us with dehydration because he's obese and because it doesn't matter what month it is and where he's playing, he won't take the fucking windbreaker off. It's like, hey, go down to the fucking polo shirt, Andy. You're too hot. You're running hot, dog.
Drink some fucking
Sweating it all
water.
out.
Drink some
Yeah.
water, man.
He can't. He's wearing the fucking welder's mask.
Come on, get some water. All right, we both agree on that one. Texans travel to Buffalo. Their biggest spread of the week right here. I'll be curious what you say. 15.5 points. The Bills are spotting the Texans. Now, again, the Texans covered last week in Cleveland. Can they bring that magic again?
I am taking the Texans. I'm just that's spread. Like, listen, I am not against. Sometimes I think the NFL and Vegas, like they don't go there with the spreads. I think the Bills had a rough week one after after a very long offseason against a team with good defense. I think they're really good. I think they proved that last week, but 16.5 points,
15.5.
It's a bananas amount of points for an NFL spread. I'm going to take the Texans.
It makes me think Vegas knows something. Therefore, I'm going to take the Bills. Lots of different picks this week, Joe.
Great.
I think we'll have a different one here too. Arizona 3-0. LA Rams 3-0. Big Sunday afternoon game at SoFi Stadium. Rams are 4.5-point favorites. Huge win. Convincing win against the Super Bowl champs last week. Arizona's eking out some games. They looked really shaky the first 2.5 quarters against Jacksonville. But I think Arizona keeps it close. I'm going to take Arizona to cover that 4.5-point spread.
We're not different. I actually like Arizona in this game as well. I think that this is still going to be a tough division. This is always a tough division. I feel like over the years, when the Rams were bad, they'd always fucking upset your Seahawks. Well, when the Rams were good, they lose a game to the Cardinals. Like, it's a wonky division where these guys get after each other. And also, I think playing inside in SoFi with Kyler Murray, and if there's one type of player that I think, can give a Rams type defense fits, it's Kyler Murray. So I'm going to agree with you. I think it's a close game.
Yeah, we'll stay in that division. Seattle travels to San Francisco, coming off a tough loss to Green Bay. The Niners are only 3-point favorites at home.
I am taking the 49ers because they're at home, because they're coming off that loss, and because they smell blood in the water. All the years that your boy Russ has gone out and beaten, that Niners team when they're a Super Bowl team, when they're like right there. Russ has been a thorn in their side, and he probably will continue to be a thorn in their side. That's why it's only a 3-point game, and I even have it at 2.5 in my pick'em league. But I just think that the Niners, with that loss to the Packers, they can't lose to the Packers and then come back and have Russ. They can't lose 2 games at home back to back, or else they get themselves in a real situation. I think the Niners win and cover.
Yeah, obviously I'm down on the Seahawks after just 3 games, but so I can't change that. I think the Niners win and cover. And sadly, I think Seattle starts 1-3. Oh boy.
Very limited.
Yeah. Yoshi's not going to like that. I think he called me recently. He always calls me right when I'm doing something. It's probably one of my hot take. He's the type of guy who'll call me just to be like, what do you think of this? Like, dude, you should just send me a text. Like, I don't think he knows how to text. Like, oh, you want my opinion on the Seahawks this year? I think they're going to be worse than they've been in a long time. Could have handled that in a text. Okay. Ravens travel to the Broncos. Broncos are a 1-point favorite. I'm up first right now.
You are.
I think the Ravens win and cover.
Same. I think this is the beginning of the end for the Broncos. I hate to say it. I know. Listen, I said it last show, and everybody, I was right. I had Broncos fans. Why? Why couldn't be us? Our defense. Now, the Broncos have, I believe, this game followed by the Steelers, and then it's like Raiders, Fuck, I just looked at it before. It's like Raiders. Let me look now. Browns. Then they get into Washington, Cowboys, Eagles. So they get an NFC East run. And they get Chargers, Chiefs. I just think as good as their defense is, that, you know, is their defense good enough to stop a Lamar Jackson? Like, I just think the Ravens go in there and win the game.
Yeah. I think last week was a good wake-up call for the Ravens. Almost losing that game. All right, Pittsburgh, we just mentioned them, travels to Green Bay. Packers are 6.5-point favorites.
6.5 is really high, especially against a good defense and in a game that should be relatively low scoring. That being said, I'm sticking with my boy, Aaron Rodgers. He had the one game. He got everybody on the edge of their seat. And then he's like, sit back, relax. We're going to put up a bunch of fucking points. He just looked too good.
I don't think this is high. I think Packers beat the shit out of them. Pittsburgh's, I think mark my words right. This is going to be a blowout. A blowout. Blowout.
Now I feel terrible about my pick. Now you just Andy Ruther cursed it. It's going to be a fucking 6-6 game going into overtime.
Pittsburgh looked terrible last. Their offense is terrible. Awful. They're not going to be able to compete scoring points. Packers win by 2 touchdowns. You heard it here first. All right. The game everyone's talking about. The Tom Brady comeback to New England.
Bay.
Bucks at Pats. Bucks are 7-point favorites. Wow. So much going into this. Big game. Big game. This is your Sunday night game. The promos for this have been really funny, I'll say. NBC's done a good job.
I haven't seen any of them. Where would you see them?
They were doing them during the game last week. They were doing one of them was Adele's Hello. They were playing some funny music. I saw a few that were really good. This is a tough one.
Does Belichick check the PSI on the football during this game? Does he request a football check?
Who's going first, me or you on this one?
This is you. I believe I just took the Packers.
You did. You're right. New England's just struggling offensively. They both are coming out for blood. You're seeing a lot of stuff the last few weeks, which by the way, I hate. I hate that. Like this some of these takes about like it's more the player than the coach. Like, guys, to disregard what Belichick has done is I find so disrespectful. Nothing was proven whether it was more Brady. I'll argue anybody that. Brady won a title in Tampa Bay, and I'm a Brady guy, but nothing was proven that it was more him than the coach in New England. They worked together. And you can argue all you want about how it ended or should they've gotten rid of Brady and all that stuff. You can argue, that's fine. But come on, that was a team effort, just like all the greats have always had. You know, Montana had Walsh. I mean, come on.
I'd argue, you know, in doing all that, it's like Bill Belichick is the architect of those teams. I don't think Tom Brady's just like winning Super Bowls. Tom Brady picked where he wanted to go next because they were ready to win. Bill Belichick has to put that. He's the GM of the team. He's not just the coach. He's the GM. He got all the guys that won all the Super Bowls with Brady. He got all the guys in the beginning. They changed their style. They changed their style again. They changed their style again. I'd argue, as I have for many years, going 10-6 with fucking Matt Castle's everything you need to know about that. But that being said.
Yeah, with that being said, 7's a lot. It's a lot. But I just don't think the Pats can put up points. I'm going to go Bucks comeback game after last week.
This one's tough for me, man. I have the Bucks. I picked the Bucks. I picked it at 6.5. The half point doesn't make me feel better. That's for sure. The question becomes for me in this game, and it's a full-on stay away.
Yeah, I would not.
In terms of
I agree. I wouldn't touch this game.
But Tom Brady definitely went down there and took his offense, right? Like, he's definitely running all the Brady shit. So the question is, can Belichick, knowing what he's going to see with their talent, keep it close? It's really tough. I think I'm going to go with the Bucs as well. But I would not be surprised if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I would not touch this game. I assume most Pat fans are going to cheer him on, right? I mean, how could you not? The guy got 6 Super Bowls.
You mean in terms of like not booing him?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's white. He won all those Super Bowls. I think Pat's fans will be fine. I don't know.
I just don't know how you couldn't support him. Like, literally put their franchise on the map. Obviously, with Belichick, is again combined effort, but come on.
Yeah.
All right, your Monday night game in Los Angeles. The Raiders bring that 3-0 undefeated record to SoFi Stadium against the Chargers, coming off that huge win against the Chiefs. They're saying this is even on a neutral field. Chargers are 3-point favorites. Who you got, Joe Prano?
Well, I think the Chargers are the better football team. I think the Chargers have proven to me that they can win big games in beating the Chiefs. The Raiders have won some big games so far, but it's also it was dicey in Miami. The Monday night game against the Ravens, a little kooky, a little wild. I'm leaning full on Chargers here. And that is why I'm going with the Raiders.
Oh, he threw me for a loop.
But here's what I'll say. The other reason I'm going for the Raiders is I think the Raiders are cut from the same kind of cloth that the Cowboys are. Cowboys came into SoFi, beat the Chargers, moving the ball. It was a close game because neither of them were able to punch it in. I think this game could go either way. I think it could be a 10-point Chargers win. I think it could be a 1-point Raiders win. But I really do. I think it comes down to a kick. And what's crazy is the Monday night is like the prime timeness on Monday night really makes me want to lean Chargers. And I've been burned so many times over the years by going with the Raiders. But I don't know. Something about me is just drawn. The Raiders keep being in these games one way or the other and then winning them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in this game one way or the other and lose it, but that it's, one of these desperation wins ends up not going their way and they lose the game by 2 points or 1 point or whatever.
I'm going to do the opposite. I think the Chargers win and cover. The Raiders are too flaky. They're too hot and cold. We both agree the Chargers are the overall better team. There'll be a lot of excitement. This will be a 5:15 West Coast time. This will be the first Monday Night Football game for the Chargers at home, at least in years.
The thing that scares me about it is I think the Chargers are better, and I think that I think this is going to be a high scoring game. And therefore, you would think that the 3 points isn't going to, but I just think it's going to be the Raiders just keep playing wild fucking
now
ends of games.
That stadium will probably be, that stadium could be 60% Raiders fans.
I would think so. Yeah.
It's because of all those bad Chargers fans who sell their tickets to Raiders fans. Like me. I was rooting for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. All right, those are our picks for week 4. I think we have a lot of different picks. I like it.
Maybe the theory worked.
Yeah. I like it. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. Drop a podcast review and leave one of those Twitter or Instagram handles And I will get you two koozies in the mail.
2 koozies. I am on all social media at Joe Prano, except for Twitter, where I'm at Fix Your Life. I am in New Orleans this weekend for Giants at Saints. And of course, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday at Comedy House, New Orleans. I will be on the road with Eddie Ift in La Jolla, Comedy Store La Jolla, toward the end of the month. And I'll be with him on some other dates into November. So just go to joeprano.com and keep updating it, or slide in my DMs or follow me on Instagram, and you'll get notifications of where I'm going, where I'll be. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Good luck in New Orleans. That should be fun. And you get some comedy, get some Jameis, get some jambalaya, some hurricanes, maybe the actual hurricane. And what's that?
Yeah. See Eli Manning at the show, eat some beignets. I'm just thinking me and Eli Manning at Cafe Du Monde, morning of the Saints Giants game, after he came to my show on Saturday night, enjoying some beignets. It's everything I've ever dreamed about.
What are you wearing to that game?
I have a Giants hoodie and a Giants t-shirt, and I'll probably throw on a Giants hat. So, Giants t-shirt, hat, hoodie.
Wasn't sure if the Eli Manning jersey would make it down there.
I think I'm going to save. I don't have an Eli Manning Giants jersey.
Oh yeah, you got the Ole Miss one.
I have an Ole Miss jersey, which I will be saving for Giants at Chargers. A nice subtle trolling of, you drafted him when he was wearing this jersey, but we got him. Yeah, I probably won't pack the Eli jersey for New Orleans. Seems like a slap in their face, hometown boy. But I got a t-shirt and a hoodie.
Yeah.
It'll be like, it's perfect. The weather there is warm. It'll be like hoodie shorts weather. The best weather. Is there better weather than hoodie shorts weather?
Fall in Cincinnati, Ohio. I can't even say it with a straight face.
It's rain and chilly. It's rain.
I don't even know what fall is anymore, by the way. Like, it's like 80 degrees today. I'm like, maybe I just haven't lived in the Midwest for so long. I said, I don't remember, we're almost in October. I thought it was supposed to be cooler. Global warming is messing up the fall. Come on, man. I want some brisk air and light the fire pit. Talk to the neighbors. The block party's coming up in 10 days. Big events around here. The block party.
Big events.
Yeah. All right, guys. That is our show. It's late. I'm an old man. I need to get this loaded and then go to sleep. Thank you for supporting us. You guys have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.